The ladies have heard that Miss Yuria Primrose has returned, and the girl is said to be very successful in business. Everyone already knows this story. A young lady who left her family and achieved everything on her own. It was Yuria Primrose who entered the list of the 10 richest people in the empire. That's exactly it. And this brilliant miss not only entered the list of the richest people in the empire but headed it. How rich is Lady Primrose? If her dress is embroidered with such stones, and in such quantity, maybe Yuria is just naive, and these stones are not real at all. They are real. The main character does not wear fakes. Her cosmetics company unit is incredibly successful, and they are official partners of the Imperial Trade Guild. And now, her company also deals with jewelry. By the way, gossip girls have very dry skin. Let them come to you. They will select a moisturizing cream for them. The quality of the products is guaranteed. The lady was so ashamed. She could not even imagine that such a young miss was so well versed in trade. Yuria has been interested in this since she was a child. And the fact that the gossips don't know about it means that she is supposedly not worthy of their attention. For these empty-headed ladies, Yuria was only like a strange older sister. Let Miss allow everything to be explained. She will not allow it. If she had said it so abruptly earlier, a storm would have arisen. But now, even the highest nobility obediently lower their eyes before Yuria. She is the eldest daughter of the esteemed Duke Primrose and has an older brother, Jixon, and a half-sister, Lilica. The sister was born illegitimately but was nevertheless accepted into the family. With her helpfulness, she quickly captured everyone's attention. Yuria was always dignified, reserved, and did not please everyone in order to achieve her goals. So they were constantly compared, the estranged daughter of the Duke's legitimate wife and the illegitimate, obsequious daughter. Everyone loves stories about different sisters. The native daughter was pushed out of the family, into the shadows. But Yuria had hope, a blessing. This was an ability that could revive any plant, a magical power that made flowers bloom. At that time, unrest began in society. Cosmetics containing lead took the lives of many noble ladies. With Yuria's power, natural cosmetics were created. This caused a stir. Everyone, from aristocrats to ordinary citizens, became obsessed. And Yuria? She became brighter than the sun. The girl rose to become the richest person in the empire, without anyone's help. Moreover, she served society, saving countless lives with her safe formulations. Of course, vultures immediately circled, eager to steal her hard-earned wealth. Why didn't the older sister write a single letter to Lilica? The stepsisters still hadn't changed. Lilica was so worried about Yuria. She left the family, but why cut contact completely? Only Sister Yuria has so many precious stones. Does she really like them? She threw away her father's diamond necklace. Lilica thought that she didn't like this. She just didn't want the girl to have anything to do with Duke Primrose. Is it really possible to treat your own father like that? The performance for the distinguished public begins again. Of course, the Duke of Primrose sometimes grumbles at his eldest daughter. But this is too much. Yuria is so cold towards her closest people. She has always been like this. It was stupid to expect changes. The only one who will never change her rotten insides is Lilica. In public, a poor and weak illegitimate child against a strong and cold official daughter. The rotten bastard created this image for years, denigrating Yuria behind his back. Did Daddy really hear everything? How awkward it turned out. How can Yuria call her own father that he is not a stranger to her? Duke Primrose knows that his eldest daughter doesn't like him. But this can't be done. No, Daddy should just be angry with his sister. You can't just give up on your family, no matter what it is. Let your daughter take the Duke's hand. He will accompany Yuria. And what did the main character expect from these scavengers? Then the girl's older brother called out to her about the first dance with Jixon. Can't you forget about the feud? After all, my brother is trying to make peace with Yuria. Let him instill this in the minds of the stupid gossips. Then another young man ran up. Let Yuria leave these vultures and dance with me. Even though there were no tender feelings between them, Veer, the pathetic brat, proposed to Lilica in front of Yuria and even dared to come back here. Another parade of hypocrisy, a pathetic sight. No one even thinks about how they treated Yuria before. One betrayed Yuria and proposed to the fake right in front of her, enjoying her pain. The second always believed every word of the lying snake and mercilessly poisoned Yuria without hearing her side. But the worst thing? The father poisoned his own daughter to please his false offspring. What kind of reconciliation are we talking about? These vile little people should be executed for their crimes in the main square. None of this filth is worthy of even coming close to Yuria. Let them finally remember this and never forget it again. Yuria's gentleman arrived late. No big deal, it happened because of her personal assignment. It can't be. Everyone sees it. Or perhaps it just seems that way to the vile family. Who is Yuria's partner? The girl warmly pressed herself against the handsome young man who looked at her with adoration and incredible softness. The transformation of the main character from a hunted shadow into a bright sun is just beginning. Yuria remembers her death well. She begged her father and brother for help. The icy floor. Her father's voice, devoid of sympathy. This is the last mercy your father gives you. I won't take up the sword, so drink this poison. A father offers his daughter poison, and the bastard calls it mercy. Then the heroine thought, it would be better to go to my mother than live such a life. The main character took a sip of poisoned wine, and her body was immediately pierced by sharp pain. The poison was highly toxic. These vile offspring didn't even wish Yuria a quick, painless death. The older brother then called their father. Too soft-hearted. He would allow Yuria to die so easily after everything this bastard had done. She should die a long and painful death. Poison is too humane. Let Jixin watch his language. Yuria is still his real older sister. That's not true. Ever since Lilica arrived in their family estate, Jixin has only one sister. This rotten family even began to plan, in front of her, how to get rid of all traces of Yuria's existence. While the girl was choking on blood and dying before their eyes on the cold floor of her home. How can the life of such an honest, strong, and outstanding girl end like this? In the eyes of these scoundrels, there is only disgust and disdain, as if there's some kind of garbage on the floor in front of them. The man she loved betrayed Yuri, and her father and brother decided to kill her, greedily peering into her last seconds of life. It was all pointless. And why did Yuria even return to this hell? She just wanted to escape. The main character, under cover of night, threw a cloak over herself and began to run. However, her escape was quickly revealed, and the girl's hand was firmly grabbed by a man's. It was Yuria's former fiancé, whom she once loved and protected very much, and it was he who sent her to certain death. And at that moment, the girl realized absolutely no one loved her in this world. In her entire life, there was only one single person whose love could not be doubted: her mother. She was the only one who truly loved her daughter, but she recently died. In her childhood, little Yuria could forget about absolutely everything in the warm embrace of her mother. The main character could not even imagine that everything would turn out this way, that her death would come from the people supposedly closest to her. Is this really how it will all end? Is this really how Yuria's story will conclude, just as it began? Finally, her eyes exhausted from tears closed as she lost consciousness. Her memories returned to her. There was a book in front of the girl, a romantic work. Books like these were currently at the peak of their popularity. The girl had already managed to read it, and once she started following the storyline, she couldn't stop. This novel was called Please Love the Future Princess. The main character's name was Lilica, a simple girl who became the daughter of a duke. Despite her non-noble origins, she became an aristocrat. At first, Lilica's father and brother looked down on her, but soon she won them over through false pretenses, having driven the other sister out of the family. The eldest legitimate daughter was the main villain of the novel. The plot of this novel is already quite hackneyed, but it is all very good because the main character is not who she claims to be. Yuria Primrose, the eldest daughter of the Duke and his late wife, is a typical antagonist and supporting character. The eldest daughter constantly suffers from a breakdown due to jealousy towards the main character, but everything is not at all as it seems at first glance. And why did the girl only realize this now? She was this very eldest daughter of the Duke in the novel, Yuria Primrose, a secondary heroine of a novel with a tragic fate that the girl read in her past life. As soon as the rotten and fake Laika appeared on the doorstep of their home, she turned Yuria into a villain in the eyes of others. At first, the deceitful and vile Lielika made her father and brother consider little Yuria an obstacle to the well-being of their family. Her closest and dearest people hated the girl and planned how to get rid of her. The rotten heroine set up Yuria, slandered her, and hounded her, and Yuria herself could not stand up for herself. Soon, everyone took Laika's side. Yuria's fiancé also betrayed her by spending the night with a deceitful servant and breaking off his engagement to her older sister. Everyone hated and despised the poor villain, although the real rotten offspring of the novel was always its main character, Lilika. It's all about that damn original story, but now, the girl can rewrite it and expose the fake heroine to everyone. In the life of a minor character, the only ray of light was her mother. And now, the girl goes straight to her warm embrace, in which everything will be forgotten. Scarlet blood flowed from the heroine's mouth. Her strength was leaving her. Finally, she would be free from the house and people she hated, a vile family of ignorant and greedy traitors who recognize only their own benefit. The miserable and unbearable life that the vile Likika provided, approaching the wealth and title of the Yuria family. And in the end, such a pathetic ending. Or is it not the end yet? Where is this girl? What is happening? Yuria immediately opened her eyes in fear. This female voice calling her seemed painfully familiar to her. How is Yuria feeling? Mother is so scared for her dear daughter. This is really her mother. Facial features soft and caring, eyes warm, hands gentle, voice tender. This is truly her beloved mother. But how is this possible? Her mother died. The girl herself died. Yuria's health was gone. Need to check the temperature. Yuria immediately froze. She missed these touches so much. Through these warmest and most tender hands in the world, her mother is nearby. She can touch her again. Tears immediately flowed down the girl's cheeks. Her voice trembled. Where are we? Her mother sighed. Apparently, my daughter is still feeling unwell, or she had some kind of nightmare. They are at their family estate. The doctor said that the fever will soon go away, and the daughter will get better. But all this couldn't have been a simple nightmare. It was all too realistic. It doesn't seem like a nightmare. And Yuria has already been reborn in this character's body once, so anything was possible here. Death was not so painful that she would have woken up long ago if she could. The girl is alive, though it looks more like paradise. But why didn't Yuria die? What is she saying? The mother's voice wavered. I can't even imagine how bad my daughter is since she asks such questions. Why should such a young and charming girl die? She is only 19 years old. That is how? 19 years old? At the time of her murder, Yuria was older. Then, a knock, and a disgusting, clawing voice was heard. Here is where Mother is. Her children have already looked everywhere. Mother was visiting their older sister. Let Jixin and Lilika go into Yuria's room. She needs support now more than ever. Finally, the older sister woke up. Laika was so happy. Yes, of course. She was happy to send Yuria to the next world. On the brother's face was an expression of contempt, cultivated in him by the vile Lilika. This falsely sweet smile and thin voice hid disgusting insides. But this character? It was all written on his face. He had the intelligence of a toothpick, and he was easy to control. The children arrived just in time. Mother needs to go see the doctor. Let them look after their sister. Lilika will take care of her. Mother doesn't have to worry about anything. They will encourage their sister. Let the Duchess find a doctor. As soon as the bedroom door slammed shut, Laika's poison poured out of Jixin's mouth. Yuria was once again drawn to the imaginary illness. This cowardly manipulator never acts directly, only through the hands and tongues of others. How long can you pretend to be sick? At 19, Yuria should be ashamed of something like this, Jixin spoke, but the rottenness of Laika clearly wafted through the air. She spent all her strength to deprive Yuria of everything. Yuria had already heard something like this. Had the girl really returned to the beginning of the novel's plotline? All this couldn't have been just a hallucination, a game of an inflamed consciousness. The pain from the poison that Yuria's own father forced her to drink wouldn't have been remembered so vividly otherwise. Yuria died in the winter after her 20th birthday, yet her mother said she was now only 19. This means that this is not a dream. The girl was transported back a year. This is her second chance. Jixin still wouldn't stop indulging his fake sister. Stop pretending to be sick. Let Yuria finally admit that she arranged all this to ruin Laika's birthday. Then this pathetic character added that killing Yuria with poison was too humane. He was just a worthless puppet of Lilica. There wasn't a single decent person in this estate except for Mother. Every member of Yuria's family was rotten and disgusting, just like Lilica. To say such a vile thing. The words still echoed in Yuria's mind. Time had turned back, but people remained the same. Why is brother so cruel? Sister, don't pay attention to him. Lilica's saccharine voice chimed in. I'm so glad that Yuria is okay. Let her rehearse some more, Yuria thought bitterly. What a pathetic spectacle. This snake always acted through others, never showing her true fangs. Behind that fake smile hid the most disgusting thoughts. This cowardly, greedy girl had been obsessed with wealth and status since childhood. Even in front of Yuria, she'd hidden her rotten nature until the very end. Is Yuria just pretending? Or does she still not understand anything? This was all Lilica's doing. Everything Yuria possessed must belong to Lilica, and Yuria herself must die. It had been easy to make everyone believe Yuria was the villain. None could imagine it was Lielica's scheme, a hyena in sheep's clothing. The sisters had maintained distance, until Lielica finally revealed her true, ugly face. Yuria is so skilled at embroidery. Perhaps she could help her poor little sister? Lilica simply can't manage it herself. Nothing ever works out for her, unlike our talented Yuria. At that time, the real Yuria hadn't yet understood what lurked behind such an innocent request. How could Yuria do such a thing? Tearing the only memento that reminded Lilica of her mother, the father concealed his eldest daughter. This is too much. Our family has tolerated Yuria's mischief long enough. Why wouldn't they listen? Did Yuria truly mean to suggest that Lilica herself had ruined her mother's favorite scarf? The servants claimed they'd seen Yuria take it. Lilica only asked for help with her embroidery. She can't do anything herself. Yuria would never do something so cruel. Let this lying viper stop twisting the truth. It was Laika who'd asked Yuria to take the handkerchief. Lilica had wanted her sister's help with embroidery. She never imagined the scarf would be torn. A brazen lie. The snake had destroyed it herself, then blamed Yuria. The servants immediately began whispering among themselves. What a monstrous act! No matter how much Yuria hated her younger sister, to do this to the memory of her dead mother was simply inhumane. At that moment, everyone in the estate had already taken the side of this cheap fake. But Yuria still didn't understand anything. Since then, the persecution by the rotten heroine had become more sophisticated, more monstrous. The vile snake deprived the girl of everything, stealing it for herself through lies, twisting Yuria into the villain of the story. Why is sister so silent today? Does Yuria have a fever? Well, guys, get ready. Now Yuria will start the game. Jixin sneered, claiming his sister was pretending, as always, that she just wanted to ruin the holiday. Well, what does brother say? Sister will definitely come and make the holiday special. Another fake scene in the storyline, one that would soon turn against the scoundrel herself. Yuria had been looking forward to this holiday. She would come. She even congratulated her dear sister in advance. The heroine broke into a radiant smile. She was sure this celebration would be unforgettable. And it was. Lilica's birthday did become unforgettable for the eldest daughter. The lying sister fabricated a false dress code, leaving Yuria humiliated, mocked, and laughed at all evening. But this would be Yuria's first move. The girl would change the plotline of the novel. She would take revenge on everyone involved in her murder, starting with the main culprits, Lilica, her father, and her brother. Now, all masks would be torn away, their vile faces exposed, and then Yuria wouldn't forget the worthless traitor she had once loved, or so she'd believed. Marcel Vieira, the young lord, had betrayed her publicly, then sentenced her to a living hell. How could she not have seen through his pathetic soul from the beginning? But he would still play his part. This time, everything would be different. The girl would save her beloved mother. The heroine would live happily, casting out every vile person from her life and finally living as she wished. Her first move? Crushing the weakest link, a character who had acted just as terribly as the others. Yuria wouldn't waste this second chance. She had to act, or face that terrible end again. And it all began with the main villain's holiday, where her ex-fiancé would once again play a key role. For Yuria's love and help, that worthless man had hunted her down, dragged her to her demise, and stolen her life. And even if she spelled out their sins to these pathetic creatures, they'd never grasp their guilt. "How is my bride feeling?" Marcel asked, voice dripping with false concern. Someone had informed the Lord that his bride was ill. What a shameless performance. He played his role disgustingly. How had she ever missed this? It was so obvious now. That vacant stare, that hollow voice. Never once had they held genuine care for her. Yuria had thought Marcel was taciturn, but he had visited her. Maybe he did worry for Yuria, yet even then, Lilica had been clawing for his attention. Yuria had been a decoy, a pretext for secret lovers to meet in the next room. She'd felt something wrong in the past but buried those suspicions, shielding these very traitors. The former groom always wore a handkerchief in his breast pocket, flaunting it like a badge of honor. But that scarf didn't bear the Vieira crest. It bore the primrose emblem. Lovers often exchanged handkerchiefs, and he certainly hadn't gotten this one from Yuria. She'd gifted Marcel an embroidered scarf for their engagement, but the coward had refused it, claiming it improper before marriage. Yuria's scarf would have been a burden. Why is Yuria so silent today? Is she truly ill? That disgusting face twisted in displeasure. Marcel wasn't used to this treatment. Yuria wasn't smiling at him anymore. This girl was different now, so they'd get straight to the point. Yuria knew exactly how often Vieira scurried behind her back to Lilica. The moment she confronted him, Marcel squealed like a cornered rat. What? What is this? All dirty gossip. He is a noble lord. It's funny. As expected from a nobody, he is so scared. It will destroy his reputation, although he does not fully understand what it is. There is no need to justify your cowardly nature so ineptly and stupidly. Yuri knows everything perfectly well. The scoundrel clenched his fists. If Yuri was angry, then let him take it out on Marcel, and not poison innocent Lika. How funny! This innocent one will get rid of him and throw him off the cliff into the abyss, only to come out of the water dry. Let the fool be as impudent as he wants. You won't scare Yuri with this. She has already died twice. Nothing is scary to her. Marcel got it all wrong. Yura wanted to say that she was very happy for her and her little sister, that Yuri supports the young couple and wants to help them. And what is the ex-bride going to do?